Like, God forbid a girl wants to be efficient. Like, God forbid, I just want to eat my food now and not like 20 hours later, like when my mom will cook it for.
Hello baddies, welcome back to another video today. And today I'm feeling like speaking about this topic because I am really just trying to put all the topics that are coming to the top of my head out there so that I know that like the idea, even if it's transferred to someone else and they articulate it in a better way, I know that I put it out there. Like I'm in my Michael Jackson era. Probably seen on the apps like social media, the discourse that is speaking about how young hoes are cooking everything on high and how they cook everything on high. This is basically trying to explain how young people like me, I think, we always cook everything on high. And I relate to that because literally if I want to cook something, I'm gonna put it at the highest speed the highest heat that the stove has in order for it to cook quickly because I want to eat quickly and I want to eat now. I remember cooking some boiled eggs, like making some boiled eggs, and I put the stove on boil at the highest temperature, and then I put the eggs in, and then I quickly took them out, and they were the softest boiled eggs I've ever seen. They were not hard boiled like I wanted. So that's just an example of how we all put things on high and how we all cook things on high. And the argument that most of us have, as I've seen on TikTok, is the fact that yes, we cook things on high because God forbid a girl wants to be efficient. God forbid a girl wants to eat her pasta now and not 20 hours down the line, like when her mother or father would be the one cooking it. And also another argument was quite funny, which was that we wait until we're literally shaking in order for us to actually cook. So obviously we're going to put things on high. I was thinking of this, and by the way, it doesn't have to be that deep. If you don't want it to be that deep for you, you can swipe, leave this video. It's not that deep. But I was thinking about this in a figurative way of the young generation cooking everything on high. And I was thinking about it in a figurative, metaphoric way. So the metaphor for us cooking everything on high could be the fact that we are a generation where we want things to happen now. We don't want to wait until 20 years down the line like our parents did. And that could have to do with one, us being able to see that we won't have as much autonomy physically, like fortaleza, for us to be able to do the things that we want to do 20 years down the line. And we've seen that from our parents. The second reason could be very much the fact that we have the convenience that other generations before us didn't have. Like, for example, online shopping, things that happen just very conveniently for us. If you want a bag of chips, you can order it on. If you want a dress, you can get it online quickly and it's delivered to your house. You don't have to leave your house, you don't have to do anything. So convenience is very normalized in this day and age, and we want it. Another deep reason is the fact that, girl, the economy is going like. So I'm sorry, but another reason to justify it, and I'm not even saying that this is a correct reason, none of these reasons really kind of justify us not wanting to put in like as much effort, in my opinion. The fact that we see the economy going down and there is this uncertainty that by the time we get to 20 years later, who's to say that we're going to be able to have the soft life that we're trying to live right now? That is not me having a scarcity mindset and thinking that I'm not going to get that life, but you have to look at the facts and see what's happening in the world right now. The economic state is going downhill. For example, people my age, I'm like 23 by the way, people my age cannot afford a house. By the time some people in the previous generation were 23, they were married, they had kids, they had a house. And now we are in a state where we're not even going to start with the housing part. We're going to start with the fact that the jobs are not even like there for us to be able to say we're putting a down payment on a house. So the need for things to happen and the soft life to happen now is kind of also like a thing of I feel like we're in this agitation of we are wanting to live a soft life because we don't know if we're going to be able to live a soft life when we get to their age. And also there's another very, 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 very small percentage that I used to identify with, I don't anymore, which is basically wanting to live a shorter lifespan. They want to be here, or you want to be here for a good time, not a long time, in the words of Drake. So basically you want to have fun and you want to do the things you want to do now instead of having to wait 20 years later because you don't know what's going to happen. You don't know if you're going to be alive by then. And yeah, those are justifications, but basically the metaphor is that we are people who are not trying to have delayed gratification in any sort of type of way. And I think honestly that is also the reason why self-improvement content is like something that is skyrocketing, because we're trying to find ways in which you can do things in shortcuts. And I mean, that's okay. That is actually great. It makes sense to use convenience to your advantage. But I also think there's something to be learned in the patience it takes to build one's craft and build one's financial states, or build one's body, or build one's passion project, and just like work in small increments consistently so that you can be able to see a good result at the end. And I think that is something that some of the older generation probably have. What I've seen with my mom, it's much more patience with things and how things operate. There's this patience that we don't have. I don't think we have as much patience. But as I have explained, that there are reasons in which why that patience kind of does not exist as much for us. And I think there's something to be learned about that, and the delayed gratification that we can get from just cooking your pasta right. Cooking your pasta, putting your pasta at the right heat so that it can taste as good as the one that your mom makes. Maybe you think it's a secret recipe. Maybe it's not the secret recipe that she has. Maybe it's just the patience that she has when she cooks the pasta that you don't have because you're cooking it on a hot. But anyway, I really wanted to speak on that because I thought firstly it was incredibly funny, and because it's really true. And two, like, I thought about it in this like different way of thinking about it, so I decided let me share. So yeah, anyway, I will catch you next week. Toodles.